YouTube. It's recorded. Spaces is recorded. OBS is recording. All of the recordings. All right. And now we are officially live on all the places. I think we're surprising people by being on time. So I see Godfish said, I'm ready. How about Cal? Skip TV said, is it live? I don't see the stream. You probably wrote that just before I pushed it live. So you should see it in all the places we're on. X, YouTube, X Spaces, and then obviously the Threadcast. And then we've got all the recordings going.
By the way, how many people do we like? I think the biggest venue that we have is X Spaces, right? But I do know that a lot of people
Yeah.
watch from YouTube.
Yeah. There's usually a decent amount that watch from YouTube. I think a lot of people put YouTube up in the background because it's more reliable from an audio standpoint. And if you want to, if you're a hardcore Lion and you want to support the overall viewership and start pushing us towards the top, the more you guys know this, but the more viewers you have on these different platforms, whether it's X or YouTube, the higher you get ranked on the various, hashtag pages and whatnot. So having more viewers on all of the places is a good thing for our exposure. Obviously, this show is a little bit inward focused, especially compared to Chain Chatter, which we do on Wednesdays, which is more outwardly focused. But that being said, it's still good for us to get the branding out in front of people.
Yeah, I really like the concept of building in public, not because it showcases what we're doing, but more in the sense that it actually kind of uh, like it holds you accountable of what you're doing, what you're planning, and it also helps you brainstorm with the community, which is something that, you know, the Leo community has always done, which is just provide as much feedback as possible, opinions, what they think what that we're doing is good, what they think we can do better. So yes, while INLEO is a semi-centralized company, the community, the blockchain, and the projects itself, it's more of a community-owned approach. So I
It's
do
important
like
to
it.
do things publicly and get quick feedback loops. I'm a big proponent of that. And as I've told you guys, it's, we generally have a long-term direction that we're building in, but you guys are really the drivers of what happens and when things happen. It's generally based on feedback and, what you guys determine is most important. Obviously that, again, that bigger mission in mind and sometimes, the roadmap, well, actually, I should say most of the time the roadmap is in a constant state of evolution. So, it's very important to keep that in mind, and I'm happy with the schedule of shows with us doing pretty much a different live stream almost every single day of the week. I'd say Mondays. I mean, Mondays is when we do a lot of the private meetings. So I meet with the ops team and the dev teams privately now every Monday. And then, starting on Tuesday, we do AMA, then Chain Chatter Wednesday, and then marketing on Thursday, and then Taskmaster does the lines then on Fridays. So I actually think this is a really good schedule for us. And I definitely want to keep pushing forward on the content. And actually today I'm going to talk with Sunseeker about doing more stuff with shorts and the clips from the various streams that we're doing. Because I think, we're doing a good job, but I definitely think we can do better, especially in terms of shorts. Some of our shorts have gotten some pretty good viewership lately. So I think we can push that even more and improve that, which obviously is related to what we're talking about today, generally speaking, with marketing. Yeah, I'm seeing people say YouTube is more reliable. Yeah, I know that yesterday we had some issues people were saying with the space, and with Chain Chatter, we only do X Spaces because it's too the reason why we only do Spaces for Chain Chatter and we don't also do YouTube like we do for this and the AMA is because when you have different guests on, it's just a lot of headache and hassle to have them set up for both video and audio in two different places. So it's obviously, it's pretty streamlined, relatively speaking, for, having the same people on. So like when I do this with Eric, or when I do the AMAs with Eric and Mitch on Tuesday, um, it's pretty streamlined, so we don't have to worry about like all the setup headaches. But if we were to try to do, audio and video two different places with different guests every single week, which is what Chain Chatter is, that would be a lot of work. And I think it would just lead to a lot of issues. So that's why we just do X spaces only. I saw someone ask that yesterday.
Yeah.
Um,
And I mean, you would think that crypto founders and tech founders would be like pretty normally like used to a lot of these things when where they just need to be in several platforms at the same time. But since we started Chain Chatter probably like a year and a half ago, and we had Army of Crypto, we had Tesotopia, Avastars, all of the founders from these projects that were born in this cycle. The problem with them was they weren't able to join the space, the Discord channel, the Zoom call. It was pretty awful to see, but yeah, I mean it's kind of normal by now. So um, yeah, it was pretty fun to see.
Yeah, and you have a mixture of people not being very familiar with this stuff, because especially with a lot of founders, like they're building privately in many cases. They're not doing live streams and spaces all the time, so it's something new for them to figure out. And then on top of that, generally there are always issues with streams and technology. I mean, it's almost every time you do a stream, there's some issue that comes up, especially when it comes to X spaces. It seems there's many things that can go wrong. Um, Someone asked, is it possible? I keep losing the comment. I don't even know how to say your name. Mine sends Dazu said, is it possible to hear it later? Yeah, we always post the recording. So if you look on Hive, you can look at my Hive blog, and then all the recordings and like 5-minute clips get posted. And then we're also doing shorts. So occasionally you'll see a short come out that's like under 60 seconds with some specific point in it. But yeah, you can find all the recordings there directly on Hive, or you can go to the YouTube channel, and there's a lot of videos and full recordings along with clips that we post there. Godfish asked, speaking about premiums, there's been a drop from 250 to less than 200. What should we attribute this drop to? Expired donated premiums. Yeah, I think I know that there was a pretty hefty amount of donated premiums from the last cycle. I think it was north of like 25. So yeah, I would say a lot of it is probably expired donated premiums. I think that you don't want to focus too much on the fluctuations month to month of premiums. Like you want to look at the overall trend, because it's always going to fluctuate. I mean, people are going to come in and try it. I've noticed that some people subscribe for a month and then they don't resubscribe for a month, but then they come back the next month. And I think some of that has to do with people like saving up HBD. And then also, I also think there's a market force to it where like if crypto's down, I mean, you probably feel this just in normal expenses. If crypto goes down, you feel less inclined to spend money, on really everything. And I think that includes premium. I think when crypto's down, people are less likely to subscribe to premium, because they either want to save the HBD, they're a little more price sensitive, or maybe they're using that HBD to buy crypto because it's cheaper. Buy Bitcoin, buy Hive, buy Leo, whatever, because it's a little bit cheaper. So I wouldn't be overly concerned. I've noticed a few people get, I think, overly concerned with the month-to-month fluctuations of the premium count. And you got to keep in mind, I mean, you could literally sit there and refresh that premium count every single day, and it's going to fluctuate. It'll go up a lot, it'll go down a lot. It's always fluctuating. So I would look at the overall trend, and you want to see it trend upward over time, obviously. and like I said, my long-term target has always been to get to 1,000 premiums by the end of this year. And I mean, I've obviously pushed for pretty ambitious month-over-month growth, but I'll keep pushing for that because that's the only way we're going to get there. And I put out a thread actually, which I wanted to talk about on this. And you guys can keep the questions coming, by the way. I will keep pulling the questions into a new tab and we'll talk about them. But Godfish followed up by saying, giving away premiums does not make much sense. People take the benefits and then quit or hope for another giveaway. Yeah, I think that happens when you have too many gifts. I don't think that there's no place for gifting premiums. I think that there's definitely a place and time for it. But yeah, I think you want to be cautious. And I've told the team actually pretty recently that we need to be more cautious about how many premiums we're gifting out overall. Because, the more that you give something away for free, the less value people attribute to it. So, you can still give some away here and there. But I do think that you need to be careful that you don't just make it, you don't just make it this type of thing where there's grifters who are always just waiting to get gifted premium. And I've actually seen a few people that talk about that. They're like, they'll make some funny thread about like, waiting for the next competition so I can go premium. And I'm like, that completely defeats the purpose. So yeah, it's like, so I mean, one thing I've thought about is instead of gifting premium, adding time to people's existing clocks. So like for some of these competitions, you'd have to already be premium on your own. And then we may add like 15 days or 30 days to your clock. So that's a possible future idea. But that is not, the total focus right now. I think we need to focus on, and that's what we'll talk about today, but we need to focus externally. There's so many, there's so many layers of what we're doing, but at the end of the day, as an ecosystem, if you're not growing, you're dying. So, that's going to be kind of the general theme of what we talk about today, which is, I've been putting a lot of thought into how we can grow the monthly active users on the platform. And I've been talking about how I've been chasing after 20% month over month growth, kind of starting last month. So I've been really pushing the team to figure out what we can do, both from a dev side and from a ops side, to grow 20% every single month. And the reason why 20% was chosen, obviously it's a round number, but if you reverse engineer what it takes to get to 10,000 MAUs by the end of this year, we need to grow 20% every single month until December. So, obviously I think some months you're going to grow a lot more significantly than other months, but on average, we need to grow 20% each month. And I actually think that that's a pretty solid growth rate in general for us, not just this year, but in future years. Growing 20% month over month sounds actually like really ambitious, but at the end of the day, we only have 1,400 MAUs right now. So it's, for us to grow 20%, you're only talking about a few hundred new users each month at this point. And then obviously, as we get bigger, the percent growth rate will probably drop. But the number of users that we grow by will incredibly. But anyways, I was saying I put out this thread earlier today where I talked about 5 key points because someone asked me what do I envision INLEO looking like in 5 years. So I put out a thread and I just copy pasted those 5 key things that I imagined, and this was, the question was more aimed at a global more of a global statistics envisioning of where INLEO is going to be 5 years from now. And this is also because our 5-year anniversary is coming up on July 3rd. So, from a statistics standpoint in general, I envision that 5 years from now, we'll have over 100,000 MAUs. I think that if you again extrapolate that 20% month over month growth rate, I think 100,000 MAUs or more is pretty achievable. $100 million market cap. For the Leo token, that's something that a lot of us have talked about. That's just generally an effect of growing the economy. So I'll get into that afterwards. But the third point is a vibrant platform with varied and valuable content and interactions on that content. The fourth is a vibrant brand. So obviously outward facing brand on, all of the social medias. It's important that we have that. Not just, it's important that we have a good brand, not just on INLEO, but outwardly. So like on X, on YouTube, etc. Our brand needs to be pretty strong and constantly in front of the right audience. And that's just generally kind of feeds into growing the mouse. And then 10,000 premium subscribers on a monthly basis. Just an averaging 10,000 subscribers at any given time. So, that's obviously a ton of revenue for the Leo token economy. That would be $100,000 a month from premium alone, and doesn't include ad revenue, which, at 100,000 MAUs, the ad revenue would be pretty astronomical. So, these are just 5 key things. They're targets and goals for us to focus on in the long run. And when you break those down into what we can be doing on a yearly basis, on a monthly basis, on a weekly basis, on a daily basis, you can look at those as kind of being the North Star of where we should be growing towards. So generally, we should headed in that direction. I do think we're on a good path for that. I think the platform, I think over the last 5 years, the platform and the ecosystem, the economy, and also the existing community has really matured. And I'd say the first few years of building something like INLEO is the hardest part. When you grow from literally like day one, we had obviously 0 users. So, we had 0 users, 0 market cap. The Leo token was worth nothing. And this is if you go back to when everything started back in 2019. Everything was worth nothing and there was nobody here. So and all we had was a fork of the condenser, Steemit UI at the time. So, look at how, and this is what we'll talk about on July 3rd, obviously, but look how far, this platform and ecosystem and community have come. So I really think the first 5 years of INLEO has been getting to where we are now. And it's been a very difficult journey to get here. That's like, I love that screenshot of, success, what people think success is like, what success actually is like. And it's like a squiggly line all over the place is what success is really like, but everyone thinks it's just a straight line to where you're going. It is definitely not a straight line. Things are always evolving, changing, and you've got to constantly adapt to ever-changing circumstances. So anyways, I think we've spent 5 years getting to where we are now. And I think in the next 5 years, we'll have those 5 key things. Those will be what we chase after: 100,000 MAUs, $100 million market cap, a vibrant, and you can't really put a number on this, which is why it's more of a theory, but a vibrant platform in terms of content and interactions, a vibrant brand outwardly facing, and then 10,000 premiums. So that's kind of where we're headed in the next 5 years. And I'll obviously talk about that a lot more in the, July 3rd kind of birthday update. I see a lot of people mentioning shorts. You can save these questions for the AMA. That's what this show is all about, growing. So if you want to talk whens and soons and technological advances on the platform, the AMA is for you. And those are every Tuesday at noon Eastern. So a question I keep seeing is, what are some ways we're going to onboard new people here to INLEO and LeoDex? That's from Vince, but I've seen it from a few other people. So, I have a lot of different ideas for onboarding. And I think those ideas, like I said, the ideas are always evolving. When you're building things, in the real world, not, armchair philosophy, but actually, building things that people use, in public. Things are always changing and ideas always have to evolve. So, one thing I've been thinking about a lot lately, and the title of this space is Lead Generation and Onboarding, is bringing people to a kind of specific landing page, which if you look at funnels and the way that funnels work when it comes to marketing, I've been thinking about a lot about this and how our sign-up process works. So something I've been thinking about lately is having an onboarding funnel that is specifically targeting crypto people on crypto Twitter, which is X now, who want to mine crypto, using content. And I think that this is a big reason why a lot of us came to Steam or Hive, you know, depending on when you got here, in the first place, was that this idea that you could create content and mine crypto was like a fascinating idea. And you know, I know in my case, I came to Steam it way back in the day, and I saw that, and it really, you know, excited me that people were making blog posts and making money, no matter how small the money they were making. It was just exciting that you could earn crypto, you know, from content, and you could mine crypto in that way, especially because, you know, you know, in the broader crypto space, I was always heavily into mining. I had a pretty big Ethereum mining rig at one point. And you know, I originally got in with some Bitcoin mining software and gear way back in the day. So mining has always been a fascination of mine, and I think it's been a big part of crypto ever since the beginning. So, you know, for crypto focused, you know, onboarding, I think teaching people about how they can mine crypto using content and engagement on the platform, you know, doing the same things they do on X, but doing it on INLEO. Yeah, like Ben said, tokenize everything. You know, showcasing that as being the reason why they should onboard themselves and sign up, I think is a good thing. And I know that it's met with some skepticism. Like some people say, if you do that, all you're going to get are grifters and people who are only interested in you know, making money and whatnot. But if you really think about why you came to this blockchain, and I spent a lot of time thinking about this, like why did you originally come to this blockchain? And I'm going to say that for the majority of people, I think it was the idea that you could earn crypto for your content. I would say that's the majority of us here right now. We came to this blockchain for that idea. It's like that, you know, came for the money, stayed for the community type thing. So I think that creating a funnel for those people is going to be a big way to grow the MAUs, externally speaking. So, you know, being that the goal is to grow by 20% month over month, we really need to chase after some ideas that can onboard, you know, hundreds of MAUs, which is obviously a tiny amount in the grand scheme of things, but you know, is very significant to us at the current stage of things. Yeah, Ahmad Manga said, I came to Steam it because I could make money for writing what I feel like writing and felt more attractive than finance writing. But yeah, it's, you know, you originally we all came there because we wanted to earn crypto. Like that was the big idea. And crypto is still largely about that. I mean, you look at other platforms, and many of them are growing because they're talking about how you can earn crypto. Like whether you're looking at, you know, meme coins where people are just trying to make a dollar, or you know, you look at NFTs with royalties. You look at DeFi platforms, DeFi yield farming, and you know, all the other aspects of DeFi. It's kind of all about tokenization and earning in various ways. So, you know, I don't think that our marketing message needs to be something that's completely revolutionary. You know, if we talk about how you can come here to earn crypto by, you know, creating content and engaging with other people on the platform in much the same way that you do Web 2, you know, that's going to be a really easy thing to sell people on. And one way I'm thinking about this as well is how can you essentially boost their rewards in the beginning to be very high? You know, and I'm not talking thousands of dollars, but you know, high enough where you get the dopamine hit that will keep you coming back each day, especially in the early, like say the first month. Because I would say and this is going to be something that we evolve with over time, because you know, we'll be able to collect data and see how this evolves and how it unfolds. But you know, I would say like it probably takes about 30 days to hook someone into the platform and then keep them coming back afterwards. So really what you need to do is make it rewarding enough in the first 30 days that people think that they should and you know, that they can and should come back every single day after that. So I think that that's going to be an important metric for us, is like, you know, when we onboard one of these people, how can we retain them after 30 days? And you know, my idea to retain them for the first 30 days, because I think that that's like the first, well, actually, I think that's the second problem to solve. The first problem to solve is how do you get them to even sign up in the first place, which I think is what the funnel will handle. The second aspect of that is how do you keep them to coming back every single day for 30 days, the first 30 days they sign up. In my opinion, a lot of that has to do with instant gratification around rewards. So, let's build a funnel that first of all gets them to sign up, and second of all boosts their rewards beyond what is, normal, you could say, for the first 30 days. So like you know, if they're going to be, creating threads and creating blog posts and commenting on other people's threads and blog posts, they should be getting a lot more attention than the average user, in my opinion. And it's not so that we're like faking something, but it's again, you have to give people a little bit of instant gratification to keep them coming back. It's kind of like a retail store that, does sales very frequently that are targeted at new customers. It's like, here, give us your email and you'll get 15% off. Like there are things that are targeted to get you hooked in. And then once you like that store and you have bought a few things from that store and you realize that it's, a good fit for your life and the things you're looking for, they don't need to keep offering you discounts. Like then you're hooked in and you've become a customer. So we're kind of looking at the same model here where like we're trying to give people that instant gratification to get them to come here in the first place and then stick around for 30 days, via those big dopamine hits. And then after the 30 days, then you can kind of lay off of you could call it like synthetic, synthetic account growth, you could call it. We kind of lay off of that and then we just let them be an organic user like everyone else that's already here. So yeah, Godfish said a great introduce yourself post can earn like $80, even with the current low price. And that's what I call a dopamine kick. Being successful even with other posts is tricky unless you travel and blog about it. Well, yeah, I think, having a good introduce yourself system is definitely a good way to distribute some rewards. I've also been thinking about, for example, like delegating a large amount of Leo power to brand new onboards. Obviously, you need to have strict mechanisms in place where if anyone's caught abusing that, it immediately pulls the delegation back. Taskmaster said, I think Cal likes saying the word dopamine. I do get a lot of dopamine from saying dopamine. So anyways, I think having a big delegation in the beginning could be a good way to do this. And again, you just need mechanisms in place to prevent abuse. But having new onboards suddenly be wielding like this big sword, like they can wave this big sword around for the first month that they're here, in terms of curating people. So they see that like, and again, Taskmaster is going to love this, but getting back to dopamine, like if you have a big delegation, then when you upvote someone, you can see that, oh, wait, I just gave this person 10 cents and I get 5 cents of it. And like, when you're newly onboarded to Hive right now, and INLEO, you upvote someone and 0 cents is being distributed. So you're like, well, my upvote's worth nothing. And then maybe you dig in and you're like, well, how does my upvote become worth something? Oh, I have to buy, $500 worth of Leo or $500 worth of Hive, and then my upvote might be worth 1 penny. So it's, it's kind of it's a big barrier to entry. So what I'm talking about is completely removing that for the first 30 days, giving that instant gratification of like, I can give out a big upvote right when I sign up. And then I'm upvoting all these people. And by the way, I'm earning crypto that's being, staked into my account. So then when eventually your delegation starts to expire, like your initial, like, boost delegation expires, then you're left with some stake in Leo and some stake in Hive that you then can continue your journey with. And hopefully you're hooked on the platform, after those 30 days.
Yeah, that makes total sense. I mean, for those who are just joining us, because I can see a few new faces, this space on Thursdays is more about the growing of the platform with marketing strategies and operation strategies, not more into the features or development part of things. So I can also see that there's only 2 reblogs of the space and there's 12 people here. So help us get more people. We want, like, the whole reason that we're doing this is so that people in the crypto space realize that we are building in public and that we have solid strategies and that we have a long-term mindset towards the platform and they decide to poke around and maybe invest in the token, maybe create an account, something. So help us reach more people, guys. Big fan. Cal has made a lot of sense. All these while a lot of sense, and I don't understand the next part, but yeah, it makes a lot of sense. Yeah. Self-help for trolls. I just got here. Came for the dopamine. Hey man, glad to see you here. But yeah, Cal, you mentioned to me that you had a couple of innovation ideas, maybe. Do you want to go over them?
Which ideas?
I don't know. You mentioned to me that you had a couple of ideas.
Oh, yeah, I remember that. Yeah, I mean, one of them was what I just discussed relating to onboarding funnels, um, and giving out those delegations to early users. So that's obviously kind of a lead domino idea, in my opinion. I've kind of broken this down as being really like I've been asking myself like why, what are the root causes of us not growing faster in terms of MAUs? And we are growing, over a long period of time, but I want to see more growth and I want to see more, exponential growth. So, I was wondering what are kind of the key reasons behind this, what are the root causes? And I really broke it down to three core problems. One is traffic, two is onboarding, and three is retention. So the first issue is, are people coming to INLEO? Are they coming to the sign up page in the first place? Are they looking at the platform and then saying, should I or should I not sign up to this platform? So that, that's obviously the first problem, is getting them here, essentially is what traffic means. So, if you look at the simple analytics, we do actually have a relatively decent amount of non-user traffic. So you can actually see that if you dig into the data and where traffic comes from, and then how fast it stays. You can look at the bounce rate, which is essentially how long a user stays on the page and then leaves. So, we do have some traffic, but I would say we need more traffic. So that's kind of obviously that first problem that needs to get solved. If you don't have any traffic, then you don't have any potential onboards. So I would consider those to be like leads, right? And then the second point is onboarding. Right now, when someone comes to the UI, they can look around, they can see everything that, like, if you, and I actually recommend, if you're listening to this and you're a Lion, which all of you guys obviously are, try signing out or opening INLEO from like a private, like an incognito browser, and just look at the UI without being signed in, and just like think about. I've been doing this exercise lately, which is just to think about how things look when you're not a user already, which is something that not a lot of us do very frequently, on Hive and really on any platform. I mean, if you consider like how many times do you look at X without being signed in? How many times you look at, Peak D without being signed in? How many times you look at INLEO without being signed in? Like you're already a user, so you're already signed in, which means that you're not frequently thinking about what does this look like from a non-signed in user perspective. So I recommend this exercise just for if you're curious, for your own sake, or maybe it'll give you some ideas that you can share with the team. But I've been doing this lately, and when you look around the UI, like it is actually, when I think about it from someone who's not a user of the platform, it is actually interesting. Like you can poke around the UI for about 30 seconds and you can find a thread or a blog post where someone's earning anywhere from a few cents to, $50 to $100. So if you're generally going to get interested by seeing that other people are earning a lot of money, for mining crypto for content and engagement, you can actually find that relatively easily on INLEO, especially if you frame it next to other platforms and you compare, how easy is it to see, what INLEO is about and how you can actually earn. I think INLEO is one of the easiest platforms in that regard, because you see that it kind of looks like Twitter, and then you dive in a little bit and then you see the dollar sign payouts next to things. And you're like, oh, wait, maybe this is just like Twitter, but you get paid for it. So the framework is there, in my opinion. But and we're still on that second point, which is onboarding. I think the key issue with onboarding is that the sign up process is that you go to the sign up page and there's these different sign up options, And that's great. If you're already convinced that you should sign up, then I think our sign up page is actually pretty well designed. Like it just has what you need. It's right there. But if you're not yet convinced to become a user of INLEO, I think that's where we run into a little bit of a problem, which I think some sort of onboarding funnel. And I talked about this, I think it was about 8 months ago. I released a design that I had for an onboarding funnel. And I've been thinking about that a little bit lately, how we can even take what I was thinking about and improve it. But, what I'm thinking about now is a very simple page that showcases like the top 3 users on the platform, in the past week in terms of how much they're earning. So like you might see, Taskmaster is up there and he's earned, $400 in the last week. And that is an aggregate of like his Hive and Leo blog and thread rewards, right? So, it would have the top 3 users listed there because you're showing them like a thing that they can attain. It basically gives them a goal. It says, okay, if this guy can make $400 a week, then I can do it too. So, that is a psychological thing, and then it might lead you to sign up. And then we can have a few other key points there. And then have some kind of offer. And I mentioned this about retail stores. If you go to like a retail store website or something, insert any example you want. Most of them have something where if you go to leave the page, it actually tracks your mouse. And if you're going to click to exit the page, it will have a little pop-up that will say, get 15% off your first order, by putting your email here, and then we'll send you a code. And I'm thinking that we should have, why don't we have the same thing? But instead of obviously giving someone 15% off because they're not buying anything, we say, sign up here, like click here to sign up. And if you do, you'll get XYZ. Oh, I did hearts again. If you do, you'll get XYZ. Maybe you'll get a, like I said, a Leo Power delegation, although that's not necessarily the most instant gratification that we could offer, but maybe we offer them like 100 Leo Power staked to their account, for example. And we can have these different offers based on different actions. Like if the user is about to leave, you try to hook them back in with an offer like that. And there's other things we can do too. Like, a lot of Web2 platforms are like collecting email addresses. There's no reason why we can't do something like that as well, where, we have something like, get $10 in free crypto by giving us your email address. Because once we have their email address, now we can start sending them emails on a weekly basis or something, inviting them to come back, to INLEO and sign up and do other things. And I think Eric and I have talked about this in the past, especially with the Substack, which we can also get into that. But I think there is some growth potential with the Substack that we could be leveraging that we aren't right now. But having these emails is a great way to encourage someone to sign up. And then once they do sign up, if we can link their email address with their sign up, then we can actually retain them better, which gets into the third point. So again, traffic, onboarding, and retention. This gets into the third point, which is if we have their email, if we notice that they're not active for 30 days, we can shoot them an email and we can say, hey, if you come back to INLEO, you'll get 100 Leo Power staked to your account, something like that, right? Like, and there's a lot of different ways that you can go about this. So again, it's all aimed at like, the first problem is you need to get more traffic. So we need to get more people coming to INLEO who are not users. The second part is onboarding. So in terms of those, so we need to cast a wider net. And then of that net, when people are on the platform, we need a better flow to get them from non-user to user. And then the third piece is retention. If someone signs up and they become inactive, we need to have methods in place in order to get them to come back. So those are some really, again, 3 really core pieces of the onboarding problem, in my opinion, that need to get solved.
Yeah, having emails from users would be a game changer. And of course, we are a blockchain-based platform where, it kind of like what I've seen with many people in the space is that they believe that being a Web3 platform, you should fight tooth and nail against what Web2 strategies use and how Web2 in general or TradFi strategies, etc. So it is weird because yes, we do know that we need some strategies, but at the same time, these strategies are very much used by traditional social media platforms, so you don't really know how to move around. But yes, having emails and a way to follow up with the user base would be amazing and definitely a game changer.
Yeah, and I'm seeing a lot of comments where people get hung up on the details. Like Godfish said, it sounds a little bit too like multi-level marketing. Someone else said, wow, like you're showing something that's unattainable because there's a few people that earn a lot and a lot of other people who don't. My response to all of that is for the multi-level marketing thing, you know, it's all about the product behind what you're selling at the end of the day. So like if you don't believe in the product you're selling, like if you're selling some scammy product, like some weight loss drug, then obviously I think your scheme comes to an end at some point because you're just selling some bad product. But I don't know about you guys, but I believe in the INLEO product and I believe in, the mission of building a sustainable and growing, creator and user economy around tokenized engagements. So like, building what Web 2 has, but tokenizing it. And that's what INLEO is about. So personally, I think it's a great product. I use it every day. I obviously don't need to make $500 a month from blogging or threading or whatever, but I use it every day because I think it's a great product and I think it's fun and, you get to engage with different people and discuss good ideas. And there's a lot of different value props that we all get from this. I think many of us are here because we earn crypto. And I think many of us are also here because we get value in other ways, like interactions and whatnot. X is always out there. It's always available to us. But a lot of us choose to be more active on INLEO. And there's reasons behind that. So again, I think it goes back to what product are you selling? And you can really call anything a scam that offers a discount, but are they offering a discount because it's hard to get people to, to basically use the product once, twice, three times, however many times it takes to get them to keep coming back. So yeah, I think that that's a non-issue. I think that that is solved by having a good product that you believe in. And then on the other point, generally, which was about, like earning and the details behind all of this stuff. I think it's too easy to get lost in the details of this stuff. At the end of the day, again, I invite you to think about why you originally came to this blockchain. Like what originally brought you in to the Hive ecosystem, and got you to come back at least the first few times. And I'm gonna say probably across the board, at least 80% of the people came here because there was the idea that they could earn crypto. And then you ended up staying because you enjoy the community, you enjoy the products, you enjoy the future idea of building something that is massive. Maybe you believe in the idea, like I do, that in 5 years, INLEO is going to have 100,000 monthly active users, and all the different layers of the platform are going to be tokenized, and we're all building ownership in an emerging platform. So again, you're not going to retain everybody either. So don't get too lost in the details of like, well, some people aren't going to like this and some people aren't going to like that. And some people are going to think that they can make, $20 in crypto, but then they only make 5. So then they leave. People are always going to leave. Like you're not going to have 100% retention rate. So if you get too caught up on the details of that, then I think you'll just get nowhere. It's like it's paralysis by analysis. It's, you get too lost in the intricate details of things. And it's, when people are trying to hold, too many things, it's like, you're trying to juggle too many balls at the same time. You have to realize that like there's some percentage of people that you're going to retain and some percentage that you're not. And if you accept that maybe you're going to have a 20% retention rate, then you can focus on making the experience really good for those 20% people rather than trying to make it too broad and please everybody, and then you end up getting nowhere.
Yep, very true.
Ahmad
Ahmad,
Manga said, I didn't come back for months after I first registered. I came back when someone told me they earn a lot and all they do is post every day. Yeah, exactly. I mean, I don't think you're unique in that. I think a lot of people that are here right now would agree with you that they originally came here because of the idea that you could mine crypto with your brain. I mean, I know that that's what drew me in. It was like, I think that was even like the landing page of Steam. It was like, proof of brain, mine crypto with your content, like something like that. And um, you know, and like I said, that's what drew us in. And there was a time when, there was a time Steam was like a top 5 crypto, and people were earning like thousands of dollars for blog. Like if you looked at the trending page, there were some blogs earning like $5,000. So and this is going to answer God's response, which is that showing the median users instead of the top 3 would be more honest. You're not lying by talking about the top earners of the platform. You're not doing anything dishonest. And you're saying that it's more honest to show the median. Well, maybe if you showed that, the average person earned 30 cents, then you wouldn't get anybody anyways. So, again, I think you guys are too lost in the nonsensical details of it. Your goal is, let me get people in with this shiny object, and then let me retain the ones, maybe the 20% of people who are here for more than just more than just the idea of I can make $1,000 a month. I would say that 99.99% of people on Hive don't make $1,000 a month from Hive, but we're all still here. But maybe when you first got here, you thought you could make that much. And you see what I mean? Like, you need to get people into the platform, and then focus on retaining them. And retention comes from more things than just earning. But that being said, earning is the way that you hook people in. You need a lure in order to get something to come into you. So it's definitely an aspect of, like, don't be dishonest. Don't tell people, you shouldn't tell people you can make $100,000 a year by blogging on Hive, because I don't think there's a single person out there that makes that much. That would be dishonest. But telling people that the top creator on Hive makes, $3,000 a month blogging, which I think it's probably somewhere around that, that's not dishonest at all. You're just telling them what the top earner makes. And look at X's recent creator program, which I think is, I think it's a good lens to look at. There's a handful of people who make like millions of dollars, tens of thousands of dollars from X's creator program. But that being said, probably everyone in this audience right now is somewhat active on X, and none of us earn a single penny from it. So
Yeah.
consider that value proposition. Another good example would be like Mr. Beast on YouTube. He's making, I don't even know how much money at this point, probably hundreds of millions of dollars a year from YouTube videos and his various, brands like the Beast Chocolate, the Feastables brand, and all the other companies that he's been building on top of his brand. That being said, he is inspiring a whole generation of people. Like, you go around to like to children these days, and you ask them what they want to be when they grow up. And I guarantee you, out of a group of like 30, at least 1 or 2 is going to say that they want to be a YouTuber like Mr. Beast. So, like, is it dishonest for YouTube to say, hey, create videos on the platform, you could be the next Mr. Beast? Is that dishonest, or are they just saying that you could be the next Mr. Beast? It's, again, I think it's just getting lost in the weeds of something, as opposed to, focusing on that first point, which is getting the traffic, that second point, which is then convincing them that they should sign up. And then your third point is going to be retention, which is, you need to retain them on more than just earning. You need to retain them on the aspects of Web3, on, digital ownership, truly owning your account, on tokenization, owning the various value layers of the platform, whether it's advertising or, Leo Dex revenue, and then, earning is a piece of that. And then the community is a piece of it as well. So again, don't get too lost in the weeds of how we hook people in. Focus more. I would say what you guys are questioning is more related to retention than the hook that you use to get people in.
Yeah, and if you think about it, what we offer, what INLEO offers in general is, and this is exactly why it was so much needed to have a flawless or an even 99% bug-free interface, was because we want to offer exactly what people can find on X, on Medium, on Reddit, and then we have a bigger value proposition, because we are offering an alternative, which might not be the same, but will be similar enough to be an alternative to these Web2 platforms. And then what you're offering as well is, okay, but in here, okay, so you have the Web2 experience, and on top of that, you have immutability, you have censorship proof, you have freedom of speech, and then on top of that, you can also monetize your content. You like, there's layers over layers, and there's no downside for using a Web3 platform like INLEO or even any other one on Hive for that matter. The thing is, what are you offering on top of what traditional or the Web2 platforms are offering? And that's why I believe so much in the product and why I believe so much in the vision, because there's no downside to what INLEO offers. You could argue, oh, it's a centralized entity because there's a team. Yes, but it lives in a decentralized layer, and that's the important part. If you want to move fast, you need a centralized team to push things forward while existing on a decentralized database layer that allows anyone else to refurbish whatever we are doing into their own thing. And that's very much true. So there's no downside, and that's the message. And anyone who doesn't see it, it's because they don't want to see it or because they are invested in something else. So it's just a matter of time, and that's the reason why I believe so much in this. Fred, I retained my two onboarders quite well. Presently, they are both doing well thanks to the results they've been getting. Yeah, exactly. And that's one of the main things or main ways that Lions can actually help us onboard more people and grow the platform. If you have some friends, you don't have to onboard 20 people. If you onboard two people and you take care of them, you show them how to move around, how things work, and then these guys do the same. Yes, it kind of sounds like a pyramid scheme, but it's not a pyramid scheme if they are not paying anything. And that's the thing, they're not paying anything. We are actually rewarding the users to come here. So yeah, that's the way to go. Fredai. Is it Fredai or Fredal? Fredai. G. Yep, very much. Um, a big fan.
Yeah, and Fred's comment kind of leads into the idea of the referral program, which I've spent a lot of time thinking about. Um, the having a really good referral program is a great way to basically turn the entire existing user base into marketers and onboarders. So I have a lot of ideas for how we can build a really gamified referral program that uh, that actually rewards you guys for onboarding new people, and it allows you to actually like accrue long-term rewards for referrals in a sustainable way. So like, every time that they subscribe for a year of premium, you as the person that originally onboarded them, whether you onboarded them yesterday or 5 years ago, you every time they subscribe for 12 months of premium, you get one free month of premium added to your clock. Um, and I have like a bunch of other ideas and ways that we can do that, that we can further that in terms of rewards and earnings for being a regular onboarder. One of the new aspects of the leaderboard, and it's on GitLab if you want to read the design of it. The new leaderboard has a points system. So every month, everyone will be able to compete for the top positions on the leaderboard. And there's different ways that you earn points. And one of the ways to earn the most points is to refer in new users. And those referrals that you do, this was an idea. I think I got it when I was talking with Idiosyncratic in the Ops channel. We were going back and forth talking about like referrals and leaderboards. And I think that we can build this into leaderboard where every user that you onboard, actually when they earn points, you'll earn a fraction of the points that they're earning, and it'll get applied to your points every single month as well. So basically, if you're like a really active onboarder, you could, like, for example, outcompete someone like Taskmaster who may be more active in terms of threads, but you're more active in terms of it's you and like 100 people that you onboarded, and you're earning points from your activities and those 100 people. and then you're just ranking up the leaderboard. And then we can do various rewards and prizes based on the leaderboard. Things like kind of like what we do for LPUD is what I'm thinking, but we do it based on the leaderboard and rankings on the leaderboards. So I think yeah, Idiosyncratic said leaderboard is quite motivating. Numbers matter for all of us. Yeah, I think the leaderboard is going to be really interesting, and we'll obviously tweak it with time as well. But I actually think it could completely replace the engagement score as well. I think it can be. I think it can be something that's really valuable in terms of gamifying the experience, and also, the current rep score system is just not very useful in my opinion. It doesn't really give you a good lens into how engaging and active somebody is at a blockchain level. So I've been wanting to change that for a long time, and I think the new leaderboard could definitely do it. Vic Van said, referral system that works and is attainable is good, but who can take the lead for it? I will, who else? Yeah, well, and that's the entire idea behind the referral system, is that it again, and Taskmaster will hammer this point home to you, that we are all owners in the platform, and we should all be thinking that way. The referral system gives you guys, some extra power, some extra juice to be in charge of the growth, alongside the team, not just waiting for us to solve problems, but actually being problem solvers on your own. So it puts it in front of you guys. And Godfish is screenshotting the current leaderboard, and we're talking about the new leaderboard design that works on half SQL. So it's a completely different backend module. And again, you can go to GitLab to see the designs for it. It's not live yet. Ahmad Manga said Leo.voter needs a lot more Hive for these ideas to succeed. Yeah, I mean, Leo.voter is growing in Hive, and I agree that we do want to see more Hive power getting absorbed into Leo.voter, and we have been seeing it. I think like 2 months ago or so, I think we were at about 2.7 million Hive power, and now we're at close to 5 million. So it's been growing. It's been growing. It's been growing pretty steadily. So I agree though that we generally need more ability to reward people, and rewards come both from Hive and from Leo. So you could also say that a higher Leo price will allow us to give out a lot bigger rewards in terms of dollar value to various users. iJats asked, can Leo Infra beyond X and Google? So right now, Leo Infra allows people to sign up to get a Hive account with X or Google. Can it also include Telegram? Yeah, it definitely, I think we could do Telegram. And we definitely could do Telegram. That being said, I don't know that we need to, essentially. And like I've said, there are three key, problems to solve when it comes to onboarding. And I don't know that, I think we've actually solved account creation. Like, I don't think account creation is our current biggest problem right now. Sunseeker's been testing this lately with people IRL, and then sending me feedback if they run into any bugs. I think we've actually solved the account creation problem. And now that's leading me to believe that the problem is the first two things, which is the traffic in the first place. So getting actual people to look at INLEO. And then the second piece, which is getting them to even click the sign up button and create an account. I think those are actually the two harder problems to solve right now over account creation. Because again, I do think we've solved account creation. I can tell you that probably 90% or more of Telegram users also have an X and Google account. So, while I do think it's another onboarding method and something to market, people already have X and Google. So, adding Telegram, I don't think will magically bring in a bunch of users. That being said, it definitely could get added in the future. Vince said, so there will only be two problems need to be solved. No, there's three core problems, in my opinion, that need to be solved to grow the MAUs. And those are traffic, onboarding, and retention. So those three things need to be solved for. And there's many sub problems that come along with those, but those are the three key ideas. If you really boil it down, and I spent a few days thinking about what we're potentially doing and not doing, and why the MAUs are not growing at the pace that I think that they should be, especially with INLEO's technology at the point that it's at now. Leo has a bright future. Apple is one of the largest companies in the world. Look at where they started. It's a screenshot from Taskmaster with I actually have never seen that before. It basically looks like a typewriter. It basically looks like a wooden typewriter that had sex with a computer and then had a child. That's what it looks like. I'm assuming that's like the Apple One or whatever, the one that they gave to the hobby shops. Sunseeker is doing a good job. Yes, she is. Make sure you tell her. Tag her. Tell her she's doing a great job. And she is a Leo, so she loves praise, is what I hear.
Wow, there's a ton of comments. So
yeah, there's a lot. I'm trying to keep up with everybody.
Yeah, I can see 17. Now I refreshed. Wow, 243. Wow, you guys are degens.
iJets asked a lengthy question, but essentially the TLDR is, can we set up a gamified access to INLEO that is a referrals machine? Yeah, that's exactly what I described. Is a referral system that basically benefits the referrer in perpetuity. So you will start to earn rewards on the leaderboard in terms of points. And then also if they are subscribers to premium in the future, then you'll get rewards as well. So one example being like if they subscribe for, and I actually got this from the Whoop. So it's like a fitness tracker that I've got, and a bunch of people I know IRL have it. And if you gift it to someone for a year, you get a free month of your subscription. So kind of gave me the idea that like, if you gift a year to somebody, you should get a free month of premium on INLEO. But also kind of gave me the idea that if you refer someone to INLEO and then they end up subscribing for a year for premium, or they subscribe like 12 months consecutively on the monthly program, either way they do it, you would get a free month added to your clock every time they do that. So let's say you onboard someone next month and they end up subscribing to premium, every year for the next 5 years. That would be 5 extra months over the next 5 years that get added to your premium. So that's kind of one of the ideas behind that. And then we can add so many more layers to that. If you actually look at the onboarding system we've built so far, it's actually really fascinating because we've built what I think is one of the first actually functional referral systems that's completely on chain. So when you refer someone to INLEO, it's actually referring them, and we put data on the Hive blockchain for it. So I haven't really seen any other platforms doing something like that. But that being said, we built this system many months ago, but we never added rewards to the referral program. So you can go to your settings page and get a referral code, and then it ties the new user to your account. But then there's no rewards for it yet. So I think adding rewards to that will be a good boost in our overall ability to grow. Codfish said the Catholic Church is the biggest business in the world, and look how they started some 2,000 years ago. That's pretty funny.
The first footy threadcast got 115 comments. Yeah, it's pretty amazing to see communities do their own threadcast by their own initiative. So imagine if we had 10, 20, 30 communities doing their own threadcast about whatever they want to do it. And that's one thing that we aimed to do with the weekend threading initiative that we had a few months ago with a few communities. So it's only a matter of time for them to come back. I think Sunseeker can confirm this, but there are still a lot of them are on board with working within Leo, so it's just a matter of time.
Big Fan said on Leo, I grow, you grow, we all grow. Yep. We all for one and one for all. That should be our tagline. Big Fan also said I onboarded 2 people this month. Yeah, it's really good. And by the way, if you're using your referral code and onboarding people already, we're gonna backtrace all the referrals. So nothing's getting lost. So just keep referring people, and the rewards when they do come will be applied accordingly. Sunseeker said we should use the tag new lion every time you spot a new one or onboard a new one. Create a thread and tag them so we can locate them. And I created a list for newbies to add them there. Yeah, that's a really good idea. You know, and it solves one of the biggest problems that has been on Hive since the beginning, really the beginning of Hive. And that is that when new people join, sometimes they just kind of get lost in the noise. And some tools that we've created and that you guys could be leveraging, you know, when it comes to threads, when it comes to the lists feature, can be used to make sure that that doesn't happen. So I do think that we have a very niche community in terms of being 1,400 monthly active users, but we're a very powerful community. When I look at other communities out there, I realize how we are, you know, such a strong and united community on many fronts. So between the fact that we're so united and also the tools that we all have with lists and threads and other features, bookmarks, etc., we could be, you know, we could be the change in terms of not letting new people get lost. Ahmad Manga said, I'll try to bring my brother back to Hive. Yeah, bring him back to threads, have him start threading. I mean, it's so low barrier to entry just to be a random threader, just to randomly put out a thread. I mean, it's so the barrier to entry, the barrier to do it on a daily basis is just so low that I think it should be, you know, encouraged to get people on. They don't have to make blog posts if they don't want to. Just looking through comments.
Yeah, I keep going back to when I really invited people to Hive back in 2018 and 19, probably even on 2020. I experienced that 95% of, and I probably invited like more than 50 people in total, and 95% of them just left after a couple of months because they are not writers, they were not content creators. But right now, since we have all of these short form content alternatives, it's so much easier. And like you say, it's just the barrier of entry is so low that pretty much anyone, even your grandma, can start doing stuff on INLEO without being an expert. So Fredel, I want to develop a habit to always be present on INLEO threading, but with the current situation in my country in terms of power supply, this mission is an obstacle. Well, I heard, and don't quote me on this, I heard there might be thread scheduling coming to the platform very soon. So yeah, that's just an idea. But also, I don't think you have to put into your mind to make it a habit. It just kind of becomes a habit once you realize that it's so much easier. Like it's very easy to just grab your phone, take a picture, upload a thread. And then when we have the Leo shorts, it's going to be even easier to just upload something that you have in mind. And even if you don't feel like writing, you can just record yourself and do it. So, yep. Self-help for trolls. I agree with the normal soul. Shorts are gonna make it even easier. Yep, exactly what I said. It's gonna so much easier to just instead of being a blogger, being just a casual threader or a casual short poster. Yep, it's gonna be nice.
Short poster is the new shit poster. You heard it here first,
Yeah.
folks.
You have to pay me royalties.
Anyone here to earn for delegating RC earnings? I have a lot. I'm not doing anything with. We're actually building the dynamic resource credit pool. I've been talking about this for actually a pretty long time. We started on it a long time ago, and then we ditched it. Not ditched it, but we backburnered it so that we could work on other things that were more pressing. But we are back to building the dynamic resource credit delegator that I've wanted to do for a long time, which is based on activity. So basically, the more active you are, it delegates you more resource credits. And then if you start to become less active over time, it'll start to dwindle resource credits, it delegates to you. And then again, if you just come back and then you're suddenly active again, it'll increase them. So it's basically just a dynamic system for new onboards. And, you know, with Leo.Voter growing its Hive power, again, getting back to something Ahmad Manga said earlier, that we're going to need more Hive power delegated to Leo.Voter. You know, we already have a lot, but, you know, as we continue to grow in the resource credit, you know, we need more resource credits for new users. We will need more Hive power. So, you know, with the current 5 million, I mean, we could be onboarding thousands of people per month, though, with no problem. So that's not currently an issue. Taskmaster said the number one indicator of whether an employee stays at a company is if they have a friend within the company. So make friends with people on threads quickly. That will enhance their likelihood of staying. Yeah, exactly. And again, that's the third piece of what I mentioned, which is retention. To retain people, you need to go beyond just financials. You need to, you know, you need to have it be rewarding in many more layers. And one of those layers is the social aspect of things.
Taskmaster using strategies like psyop strategies to retain people. I love it.
It's great, really great. We should all be studying Pavlov studies and other psychological studies.
You know what? When I was younger, I actually studied marketing, but then I wanted to increase my knowledge in the human, I don't know the word in English, but you know, like the human related topics like philosophy, sociology.
Anthropology.
Yeah, exactly. And then it was I studied a second degree, and I was between philosophy, sociology, and psychology. And since I was in a lot of meetings with higher end people like vice presidents and stuff like that, I studied psychology just to have like that control of the table and stuff like that. I mean, I only did like 3 semesters because I didn't have the time. But you know, I think that anyone who wants to have any kind of uh, good management of people, of crowds, whatever, you should definitely read about psychology. And what Taskmaster says, it's really true. Like if you apply a little bit of psychology to normal things or daily things you do in life, it becomes so much easier to navigate life in general. But yeah, that was just a random comment uh, about life. But
No,
yeah.
yeah, I'm a big fan of studying psychology, and even at the most basic level, you can learn a lot of things about how people interact and how you can interact with people. One of my favorite books is How to Win Friends and Influence People, which kind of gets into the fundamentals of people and how they work. So yeah, I think it's a great area of study. Let's pick a few more questions and then jump off. We've been live for about an hour, 20 minutes so far. So I think I've got like 5 questions here. We can just rapid fire through. Vic Van said, can introduction posts be published on the Leo Finance community, or are there designated communities meant for publishing them? They can be published to any community. And my recommendation would be, you know, you can obviously publish them to the Leo Finance community. If they're very crypto finance centric, like if they're a crypto person, then that's the community I would probably recommend. If they're a photographer, then they should post in the photographers community. If they're a foodie, then I don't know what the foodie community is called, but there's likely one out there. They should post to that community. So I just think whatever community they are oriented for should be the community that they post their introduction post to, because it gives them the greatest likelihood of having some like-minded people jump in, which also gives me an idea that when we onboard people, and this is an idea that I've wanted to do for a while, when you onboard someone, they should be able to select their interests. You can do this already on Web 2, but we should be doing it as well, where they can select their interests. So maybe they select that they're interested in photography and fitness, for example. And then we can tailor the For You feed to be photography and fitness. And then we can also do it so that when they make an introduction post, it'll default to, you know, either the photography or the fitness community when they write their introduction post. Yeah, I think, you know, the interest thing is something I've wanted to do for a while. And then that's kind of like the base layer that we need to then build in a lot of other features like what I just described. And I think we can do a lot of really cool stuff with that, especially with Leo AI on the way. Um, Speaking of the For You feed, Taskmaster said internally we have to start talking about the For You feed. This is vastly improved and allows us to see content that got buried. Yeah, I made a lot of updates to the For You feed. I've been a big proponent of For You, but everyone says that they hate it. That being said, it's been improved very dramatically over the last couple months. And I think we pushed an update to it about a week or two ago that I think made it dramatically even better than before. So, I would recommend, and like I said, I think I put this in a thread a couple days ago. My method of using INLEO is I go to the latest feed for threads. I scroll through and I'll look at like the last 30 minutes of threads and I'll jump into ones that I think are cool and interesting. And then I'll switch over to the For You feed and then I'll scroll through that for a little while because it allows you to see stuff that wasn't posted, just 30 minutes ago, like or more or even more recent. It allows you to jump around and see stuff that may have gotten buried or there's a lot of people on threads that aren't active in your time zone. So when you think about it, like there's a lot of people that are on the opposite side of the world from you, and they're still posting threads and engaging with people on the latest feed in their time zone. So then when you wake up 8 hours later, if you're only looking at the latest feed, then you just missed all those threads that happened while you were sleeping, which is, in the thousands. So by using the For You feed, it allows you to dig up stuff that you haven't seen and probably wouldn't see, due to time zones and whatnot. Ahmad Manga said, did any update happen to Thorchain University joining Hive? Yeah, Eric and I actually were working on that yesterday. So their Bifrost school, I think it launched today. It sends people to the Hive blockchain through INLEO. So it encourages them to sign up and get rewards. And we'll put out a blog post and some more details talking about that in the near future. But it's going to be kind of one of those things where like I think their school like just launched. So as people progress through the school, they eventually get to like an INLEO module that onboards them to INLEO. And obviously when you onboard to INLEO, you automatically get a Hive account. So there's nobody that uses INLEO that doesn't also have a Hive account. So even if you use the light account protocol, you're signing in with X and you're not downloading any private keys, but we call that a Hive light account because you still have a Hive account on the back end. You just don't self-custody the keys until you're ready to download them.
Yep.
Taskmaster said, we need to keep growing the number of threadcasts set up each day and how much is in them. They serve a number of purposes. Give something to discuss for those marketing Leo, drives content to the For You algorithm, which was updated, adds to Leo AI. Yeah, definitely agree. Threadcasts are great. And, since Taskmaster started standing on his soapbox and telling people to use it more, I've been noticing a lot more threadcasts. So like right now we've got 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 threadcasts going right now. So definitely love to see it. Speaking of threadcasts, I'm still planning to do a live threadcast for the presidential debates tonight. So the debates are at 9 p.m. Eastern, I believe, tonight. And I'm still planning to do a threadcast. I could use a co-host. I'm not going to do any like video or audio or anything. I'm just going to do a threadcast, and then obviously you can play the video wherever you're going to play it. And then we can just kind of live talk about it. But would be nice to have someone to kind of help me run the threadcast and whatnot.
At what time is it?
9 p.m. Eastern. So what is it right now? 1:20 Eastern. So that would be 7.5 hours from now.
Okay. I mean, I think I can do it. I just need to know
Okay.
what's expected or what's needed.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm gonna keep it pretty casual. I was thinking about doing like a live stream like this, but then having it open, but then I decided not to do that. So I think what we're just gonna do is I'll just post like links on like YouTube and stuff. It'll be everywhere you can watch it. And then we'll just have the threadcast open. So people can just watch it on their own and then, make it live on your end and then make it live for everyone watching. And then just thread in the threadcast about what's happening and your thoughts on different things that come up. And I have a feeling it's going to be extremely entertaining. I know that not everyone here pays attention to American politics, but I think it's just going to be a lot of entertainment value to watch Trump and Biden go after it. So,
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, and
um,
also it kind of has a lot of implications um, on crypto, right? Because
yeah,
I mean, people think that Trump. I think there's even a bet on Polymarket about. I think it pays 3-1 if Trump mentions crypto. So yeah, I mean, it's gonna be interesting
I
to
have a
say the
feeling he
least.
will. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, I
yeah,
have a
exactly.
feeling that
So
he will mention crypto.
yeah, so maybe you can do a
Well,
bet up there.
yeah, when betting on Threadcast, I mentioned I think last week that I was talking to someone who wants to introduce sports betting, basically sports betting pools on Threadcast, which is completely up to you guys if you want to figure that out. But basically, he was saying you could take bets and you could place bets on different sporting events and then run a Threadcast while the event is ongoing. Basically like a bet pool. I think that's a cool idea. It's not something we're going to build into the UI, obviously. But if you guys want to figure that out, I think it's kind of an interesting idea.
Yeah, I have no idea how would that work, but yeah.
Yeah. When polls on Threadcast. I don't know that we need polls on Threadcast, to be completely honest. Maybe you guys can change my mind.
Poleception.
One of those things where you're gonna have to change my mind on it.
Poleception.
Yeah. So we've been going for about an hour and a half. Eric, you got anything else you want to mention or talk about? We hit on all the things I wanted to talk about, which were my different ideas about lead generation, onboarding, and all of the referral things.
Yeah, not really. Maybe just tell the Lions that we are doing a lot of progress with the spreadsheets that we use to measure. We used to measure the premium rewards, how many premium users we have, so that nobody gets left behind. Is that a word? So that nobody's left behind. And
Yeah.
we also have the communities spreadsheet where we measure how active the communities are, that the partner communities that we have, so that we can reward the most active ones and engaging ones. And the other one is the historical users. So those, Idiosyncratic is in charge of those. And we're doing a lot of progress to have better dashboards so we can control better, because information is power. So the more information we have and the more organized that information is, the better. So just it's just a heads up for you guys, that so you know that we are putting in the time and effort to improve this. But yeah, apart from that, not really.
Cool. Sweet. Well, thanks everybody for coming, and keep an eye out for the spreadsheets and also for Lions Den tomorrow, 1 p.m. Eastern. Um, and yeah, that's all we got. I will be a listener at the Lions Den tomorrow. Also watch out in case we do the threadcast for the debates tonight. So I'll start posting threads about that beforehand if we end up doing it. Um, yeah, I think that's about covers it. Thanks, Eric, for joining me. Thanks everybody for the threadcast. I see we're at almost 350 comments, so definitely definitely a good one today.
Perfect. See you guys. See you, Cal.